Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm gonna first start off this video by saying please ignore my appearance. It is legitimately like 105 degrees out here and it is humid and hot and we've been out here for hours. I'm cutting my rounds for the week, so I just circle rounds and I figured I'd take you guys along with me and show you how you can make them yourself at home without having to spend a ton of money going to the store and buying them or buying them online. You can do it yourself and you don't need woodworking experience. You don't need a lot of tools. You can do it yourself. All I'm gonna be using in this video is a plunge router that I got from Harbor Freight and a circle guide that I got on Amazon, and I'll link the exact one that I have down below so you guys know which one I have. And I love it. I've been using it for several months now and it works really great. It's really accurate and it's really fast. So that's what we're gonna be doing in today's video, and I'm gonna show you everything that you'll need, how you do it, and all of that. So enough talking because it is way too hot to be standing here. We're gonna go ahead and get on into this video and I'm gonna show you how to make your own rounds from home. So here is the router that I have. It is a plunge router from Harbor Freight, but you can get any type that you want. This one was very affordable and is very powerful, and you can change the bits out to different sizes and all that, so it was a great deal. And as you see down at the bottom, I have a circle guide attachment that I got on Amazon, and it has worked great over the last several months. It makes perfect circles, and this is what it looks like. All right, so the method that I'm gonna be showing you cutting rounds today is we're doing it on the ground, and we're gonna be using these foam insulation boards. You can get them at Lowe's or Home Depot, a really big sheet of it for very low cost, and it is great. It lasts me for, gosh, I think I've had these for over a year, but it's great because you can cut into them and it won't damage anything on the bottom. You don't have to clamp anything down, and doing so on the ground, I feel like you have really good stability and control over your piece, and to me it just seems safer. I mean, I could be wrong, but from every other way that I've tried to cut rounds, I've just found that I have most control over my piece doing it this way. So the first thing that we do before we start cutting wood is get the depth set on it. So I'm gonna be cutting 1/2 inch wood, so you wanna go just under 1/2 inch. And another thing I wanted to mention is with a plunge router, you can use different types of bits. You can use a spiral bit, which you can plunge basically right into the wood wherever you are and start, which I actually kind of prefer that more. But we have a straight bit in right now. So basically you have to start from the outer edge of the wood and then come into the wood and then start your circle from then on out. But definitely research your different types of bits, different types of routers, and figure out what works best for you. Right now we're using a 1/4 inch straight bit, and it's been working great. So that's what we're gonna be using today. All right, so now we have our plywood set on top of those foam insulation boards, and we're gonna mark our area. So keep in mind, you're gonna need to account for that bit. So when I'm making a 30-inch round, like I am in this example, we're gonna go in 15 1/4 and then 15 1/4. You're not gonna wanna do right at 15 because then you're gonna be under 30-inch round. So we did 15 1/4 in, 15 1/4 in, and then mark. So now we're gonna take this little attachment that came with our circle guide, we're gonna put it on our mark and then screw it right in, and this is where is the area that's gonna hold your circle guide in place. So you see this little circle here, that is where you're going to place on top of the little maroon thing that we just installed into our wood, and you're gonna place it right on top and push it down. So with the bit that I have, I do not have my knob tightened down, which you see that little maroon knob. And the reason why is because, like I said, the bit that I have, you have to start from the outer edge of the wood, push it in to the wood because it's a straight bit, and then you tighten it right when that little number gets to 30 on your router. But like I said, if you have a spiral router bit, you only have to plunge right into the wood and get started. So it's just up to you and the type that you have, but it's really not hard. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's not. And then I just start going around counterclockwise to make my circle, and you're not gonna wanna go super fast and you're not gonna wanna go super slow. You can tell as you're going along making your circle. If you're going too fast, you're gonna hear it, and if you're going too slow, you're gonna hear it too. So just kind of go with the flow of your router, hold down. I always kind of hold down into the center of my guide on that knob just to kind of keep it in place, because if you don't, sometimes it can slip off of this because nothing's really screwed down holding it in place. You're kind of in charge of holding it in place. And also make sure you're wearing safety goggles, friends, because stuff like this, you got to be safe, and there's a lot of sawdust involved, and if you ever have a broken bit or anything like that, you don't want your eyeballs getting, you know, hurt. So make sure you're wearing your safety goggles and all the necessary things. And yeah, that's how you make a circle. It's really honestly simple, and you can make it in like, I think this was like less than a minute, if I'm correct, maybe 2 minutes. But this is a 30-inch round, so like I said, it doesn't take too long. Once you get to the end of your cut, you're gonna hear it stop, and you're gonna cut it off, push it out of the way, and then I'm gonna take my screwdriver and just unscrew that knob thing that we installed in, and it is going to leave a hole. But no worries, because this is gonna be the back of our round, and we're gonna use wood filler to fill it in here in a little bit, and I'll show you how, and you can barely tell it was ever there to begin with, and that's it. So I typically like to spend a day and just cut rounds in bulk. I'm just showing you guys one of the sheets, but we ended up doing several sheets of plywood on this day. And a lot of you are probably wondering, well, you have a laser. Why are you not just plopping the wood in your laser and letting it cut for you? I had always done that in the past, and it does take a little bit more time when you're cutting this 1/2-inch plywood. And what I figured would be best for me is do the cuts myself while my laser's doing all the other cutting. So cutting all of my lettering for my signs and all those things, because I can cut rounds so quickly. And so I just prefer doing it this way, at least at this very moment in time. And you know, my laser, I'd have to set something up to hold the plywood out, and it just takes a lot of time to get everything set up. So I found sometimes it's easy just to plop it on the ground and just do the cuts myself while my laser's getting all the other stuff done. So here's that tiny little hole that we made with our screw. So we're just gonna take some of this wood filler. You can get it anywhere, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, and get the one that's stainable too, because it makes it, you know, easier to stain over it. But I'll just take a small amount on my finger and just plop it into the hole, smooth it out a little bit, and then you're gonna let it fully dry. Once it's fully dry, you're just gonna sand over your board like normal, and it's really it's simple. And the one I get, it turns tan when it's dry, so that's really helpful because it's purple as it's wet, and then you'll know right when it's dry because it'll be tan. So since I'm doing a bunch of these in bulk, I'm just gonna sand over the sides. I'm not doing like a thorough sand like I would do right when I get my orders. So what I'm doing now is just sanding over that hole and then going over all the little prickly, you know, pieces of wood that came off from your cut, and just kind of getting the wood ready. So that way, when I get the order for the round, I just grab it, sand it, stain it, and it's done. All right, here are how the rounds turned out. Ignore the lighting in here. They look like perfect circles. Everything looks great, and our hole is filled in, and it will be the back of the sign, so it really doesn't show anyway. But yeah, they turned out great. So be warned, you will have a giant mess of sawdust when you're done with this. That's why we do it outside, because we were doing it in the shop and it was making an absolute disaster. But thank you all so much for watching today. It's really that simple. You can save a lot of money cutting your own rounds. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.